What made Europe one of the richest places on Earth? Every day, millions of tons of cargo move across the continent. Food, steel, cars, chemicals. They travel by sea, by rail, by road, and along rivers that have carried trade for centuries. Yet this raises a simple question. Why here? Why did one relatively small corner of the world become the center of so much trade, industry, and wealth? Was it technology, capitalism, politics, or was Europe's greatest advantage already there, long before the first factory was ever built? To answer that question, we have to strip Europe down to its foundations, before nations, before roads, before railways, before industry, because long before history shaped Europe, geography had already written the first chapter. Look closely at Europe. At first glance, it doesn't seem unusual, just another continent. But one feature immediately stands out: its coastline. Europe has one of the most intricate coastlines on Earth. Countless peninsulas, deep bays, natural harbours, thousands of islands. Almost nowhere on the continent is truly far from the sea. For thousands of years, that meant people could move goods farther, faster, and more cheaply than almost anywhere else. But the coastline was only the beginning. The real advantage didn't stop at the water's edge. It continued deep into the continent itself. Then came the rivers. They didn't simply end at the coast, they carried the sea deep into the continent. The Rhine, the Danube, the Elbe, the Seine. Hundreds of waterways connected distant regions long before railways or highways ever existed. They crossed plains, cut through valleys, linked inland settlements to the sea. For merchants, they were the fastest roads in the world. Heavy cargo that would have taken weeks over land could travel hundreds of kilometers by water with a fraction of the effort. And when you look at them together, you begin to see something remarkable. These weren't isolated rivers. They formed a network, one that tied much of Europe together centuries before the modern age. At first, these rivers seem separate, but look closer. Many of Europe's great rivers begin surprisingly close to one another, sometimes only a few dozen kilometers apart. In many places, only a small stretch of land separated one river basin from the next. That meant moving goods from one river to another didn't require crossing an entire continent, only crossing a divide. And once canals connected those gaps, Europe became something no other continent had ever been: a single inland transportation network. Nature created the opportunity. People completed the network. For centuries, engineers dug canals wherever rivers came close but never quite met. Some were only a few kilometers long, others stretched for hundreds. Each new canal eliminated another barrier, until cargo could travel across much of Europe without ever leaving the water. By the late 20th century, one final connection completed the system: the Rhine-Danube Canal. For the first time in history, a ship could sail from the North Sea all the way to the Black Sea. This changed everything. Moving goods over land had always been slow, expensive, and difficult. A single horse could pull only a small load, but one river barge could carry the equivalent of hundreds of wagons at a fraction of the cost. Coal, iron, timber, grain, goods that once took weeks to transport could now move across entire regions with remarkable efficiency. Cities didn't grow beside rivers by accident. The rivers made those cities possible. Geography created the opportunity, but it didn't create prosperity. Rivers can carry ships, but they cannot build ports. Coastlines can shelter harbours, but they cannot create markets. Canals can connect cities, but they cannot invent engines, banks, or factories. Europe's geography made trade easier, but institutions, engineering, competition, and innovation transformed that advantage into lasting wealth. Without people, even the greatest geography remains only potential. Nowhere is that transformation more visible than Rotterdam. For centuries, the Rhine carried goods from the heart of Europe toward the North Sea. Today, that same route connects factories in Germany, industrial centres in Switzerland, and cities across Central Europe to global markets. Rotterdam became Europe's largest port, not because geography guaranteed success, but because Europe continuously expanded, improved, and modernised the network it inherited. The rivers are still there, the advantage is still there, only the scale has changed. Today, most people never think about Europe's rivers. They drive on highways, travel by rail, or fly overhead. The waterways remain almost invisible. Yet every day, thousands of barges quietly move millions of tons of cargo across the continent, removing trucks from crowded highways, reducing transport costs, connecting industries hundreds of kilometres apart. The network never disappeared. It simply became part of the foundation beneath modern Europe. Of course, Europe wasn't the only place with rivers. China had great rivers. North America had vast river systems. Many regions possessed excellent natural waterways. But Europe's network was unusually dense. It connected many navigable rivers across a relatively small continent, with countless natural harbours and short distances between major population centres. That geography didn't guarantee success, but it gave Europeans an extraordinary starting point. What happened afterward was written by people. Today, millions of Europeans cross rivers without thinking about them. Trains race over bridges, highways follow ancient trade routes, factories stand where barges can still arrive, ports continue to expand. The network built over centuries quietly supports one of the world's largest economies, invisible to most people, but essential to almost everything. So, what made Europe one of the richest places on Earth? Not its rivers alone, not its coastline alone, and certainly not geography by itself. Europe was fortunate to possess an extraordinary natural transportation network, but its greatest achievement was recognizing that advantage, expanding it, improving it, and building an economy around it. The geography was invisible, the decisions were human. Together, they changed history.